Welcome back to my Colorado Mountain Garden, and today I'm going to highlight two of the tomatoes that I'm growing. Um, these are both dwarf tomatoes. One is a micro dwarf, which is this one right here is the micro dwarf. It's an orange hat. I purchased the seeds from Baker Creek. 15 seeds cost me $5. On the one in the solo cup is the Tiny Tim. I grew it last year along with two indeterminate cherry tomatoes, and I grew two plants of the Tiny Tim, and they outperformed the indeterminate tomatoes by far because I started getting tomatoes off of them much earlier and they were more prolific. So if you have just a small area, like you can only grow on your deck because you can't protect your plants any other way, I would suggest that you look into some of the dwarf tomatoes. And I'm going to go into a few more after this, but I just kind of want to tell you about these two varieties. The micro dwarf that you're seeing, the orange hat, typically gets to be between 6 and 8 inches tall, no more than 12 inches. And the smallest pot they recommend that you grow this in is a 6-inch pot. And the black pot there is a 4x4 square pot. But these tomatoes are going to end up in a horse trough in my hoop house with my chives. I have 6 of them that are going to go in there. And I probably won't plant them out there until around the second week of June. The Tiny Tims, I kept in cups just like this until I was able to put them I had to harden them off, and then I put them in my raised beds in my big greenhouse. And they basically get as wide as they are tall as far as the Tiny Tims. I don't know if that's going to be the case with the orange hats because this is the first year. I want to taste the orange hats before I start recommending them as far as taste goes. But if they do well, I'm going to be saving some tomatoes because most of your dwarf tomatoes you're going to pay more for. So a little more about the dwarf tomatoes. The dwarf tomato project started back in about 2006. They had like 100 and something varieties. And about 7 or 8 years ago, I bought some seeds from the Dwarf Tomato Project because they weren't readily available other places. And they did all right, but I will say that they were, at that point in time, they were a little more susceptible to bugs. Um, they, it's like with anything, any new variety that comes out that hasn't been tested for several years, you're going to be working along with these other people to try and create a stronger variety. I feel that it's been quite a long time now, and so next year I'm going to bring in, excuse me, a few more. I'll probably send links around Christmas time to my husband about the ones that I want to try. While these are cherry tomatoes, there are dwarf varieties. I don't know of any micro dwarfed varieties that grow a full-size tomato, but there are several dwarf varieties that do. And I think they cap off the dwarf size at about 36 inches. It may be 24. I can't remember the whole rule behind it. So some of those larger tomatoes are like Chocolate Lightning, Beauty King, Blazing Beauty, Firebird, and I'll probably ask for a few more of those varieties next year just to give a try, and I will be putting them in pots. I probably, just because of how my watering system goes, is since those are going to be a little bit bigger, they'll probably go in 3-gallon pots. I got several 3-gallon pots. So I'm going to try a few of those before I recommend them. But if both of these do well, I will save tomato seeds from the orange hat and probably the Tiny Tims, and versus buying anything. Now the Tiny Tims I did get from MI Gardener, and I bought those last year, so I was just using up seeds for this year. What else can I tell you about these lovely little tomatoes? They're great for growing on, like if you can only grow on your deck, they're great for that. A lot of people can't handle the tall plants, nor do they want to. You can buy bush type tomatoes, but these are even going to be shorter than those. You can buy determinate type tomatoes, but these are even going to be shorter than those. Um, Again, it's all your preference. I will be giving updates, especially on the orange hat throughout the growing season as I get them. And it may just be, look, these are the orange hat cherry tomatoes that I got off of my dwarf plant. It may not be a full featured video. If I didn't mention it before, there's 2 other videos out there. You can find them on this YouTube channel. If you just click on the videos, you can see what I've uploaded today. And I also feature all of the videos from my YouTube channel on my public Facebook page, which is my Colorado Mountain Garden Homestead. And since this is going to be a featured video, this one I'll share. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And yes, it's still snowing here in my little neck of the mountains. And it seems like it slows down and stops and then starts again. So we'll see how much we get out of it. Hope you're having a wonderful day and happy gardening.